Now if you are learning Python, then sooner or later you need to learn about JSON files because JSON is almost everywhere. APIs returns data in JSON format. There are multiple configuration files that uses JSON. Web application uses JSON, and even many AI tools works heavily with JSON data. So in this video tutorial, we are going to show you how to properly read a JSON file in Python step by step, even if you are a complete beginner. And by the end of this video tutorial, you will clearly understand how a JSON file works, how to load them in Python, and how to access the actual data inside them. So without any further delay, let's jump to our very first topic. Now, before reading a JSON file, let's quickly understand what JSON actually is. So JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Even though it's originated from JavaScript, almost every programming language uses it today. A JSON file is basically just a structured way to store data. Let me show you a simple example. So here you can see the data is stored in curly brackets. There is one name, and with every name there is an associated value. For example, water is the name and then hot is the value. This is a very simple example of JSON. Let's get into some more examples. Like here you can see I have a JSON object where name is Henry, age is 20, weight is 80 and smoke is false. Similarly, we can also store data in form of list in a JSON. So here you can see another example where name is Henry, and to store multiple values, we are using a list format. For example, email here. Henry has multiple emails, so we are storing that in the list format. Now let's quickly jump to our Visual Studio Code screen and understand how we can create a JSON file. So here I am first going to create one file. Let's name this as data.json, and I will hit enter. And as I mentioned, a JSON file is just like a dictionary in Python, so I'm going to use curly brackets, and in the curly brackets I'm going to define name and value pair, or we can also consider this as key value pair. So for example, first one I'm going to take it as name. So let's take name as coder, then comma to separate the another key value pair. Let's define age. Now age I'm going to define it as an integer value, for example 25. Then again a comma for creating a new key value pair. Then let's have a boolean value here, for example is developer. And how we define a boolean value, I'm going to write it as true. So here you can see in the true value t is small, so there is a slight difference between how we define boolean value in JSON in comparison to Python. So this is a boolean value. Next, let's create one list. So for example, I will define skills, and to define skills, let's create a list, and in the list I'm going to have multiple string values. For example, Python is one of them. Then let's consider React, let's consider Docker. So in this list I have defined 3 values. So this is how you can define a JSON file. Now this file is ready to use. So I already have one app.py file. Let's see how we can read this file in Python. To read a JSON file, first we need to import the JSON module. So I will import the JSON module first. Then let's come to the next file. Then we need to open the file, and to open the file we are going to use the open method or open function in Python. So I'm going to write with open. Then I need to define the name of the file. So for example, our file name is data.json, and I have to open this file in the read mode. So I will define comma R for read mode, and let's define this as an object, for example file object. And now I have opened the file. Now I can read the file using json.load. So let's take a data variable. In the data variable I am going to use the JSON module. json.load is the method name, and in the load I need to pass file. So with this code, what I have done, I have opened the data.json file in the read mode, and I'm reading the file using json.load, and that's it. Now if I come out of this and if I try to print data, let's quickly run the file. You can see we got the result. Now one important thing here, this json.load method helps to convert the JSON data into a Python dictionary. Here JSON values automatically becomes Python data type. For example, JSON objects become Python dictionary. Then the JSON array, which I was referring as list, becomes Python list. True value, which in the JSON file I have defined as boolean true, has become true data type in how we define it in Python, and number remains number. And this is what makes JSON so convenient in Python. Now that the JSON file is loaded into Python, we can access values just like normal dictionary. So for example, I need to access name key, then how I can do, just like how I access a key in dictionary, I'm going to use the same method. So I am going to define square brackets with the data variable, and in the data variable I'm going to define name because I need to fetch name. If I quickly run this, I got the name value, which is coder. Similarly, I can fetch any value, for example age, and if I have to fetch any single value from this Python list, this skills one, then also how I can do this, I will write skills, then I need to write the index, which index value I need to fetch. For example, I need to fetch the first index, which is React. Let's print this out. I get the React value. So in simple terms, once a JSON file is loaded in Python, you can work with it exactly like normal Python data. So in this video, you have learned what JSON is, how we can create a JSON file, how we can read it in Python, and how we can actually access the data. And now you officially know one of the most important data formats used in modern programming. In the next video, we are going to go a little deeper and talk about why most Python developers actually handle JSON file in the wrong way. So make sure you subscribe the channel if you want to learn more practical Python content like this. And thank you so much for watching this video. You can hit the like button if you really like this content, and if you have any suggestion, you can comment down those suggestions in the comment box, or you can also email us at the given email ID. Thank you so much for watching this video. We will meet you in the next one.